We live?
Yes.
All right, brothers. Hey, it's John BL. We got Caleb Rapoport in the house. And of course, Johnny Beane.
Hey. Hey, you guys.
This is Johnny's vlog, VEDA, last VEDA of August.
Of the day.
Of the day, yeah.
The elevator.
So
yeah. Hey, James Orcutt. Good to see you, man.
I'm gonna try and keep up with the chat. I got the chat next to me, and we got Van Halen Memphis 1981 playing on the screen behind me. Today, this day, 1981, August 31st, 1981. One of the lesser quality bootlegs that's out there, but it's a full show from the Fair Warning tour. The audio is not great, the video is not great, but somewhere out there, I'm sure there's a high quality version of this. This looks like it was filmed from the mix position, front of house, or maybe a lighting position. You can see it probably. Hey, it could have been Pete Angelus, just for his reference, because if you watch this show, the lighting looks perfect. But yeah, that's a great boot that's on YouTube. August 31st, 1981.
Wow. That looks way better than the one that I had on VHS back, I don't know, 20-something years ago, 25 years ago. That looks
not great,
amazing compared to what I had.
Yeah, compared to what was out there years ago. I can remember.
What I had, you couldn't even see anything. It was nothing but just like scrambling. You could hear it, but it was very distorted.
And for a long time, that was all that was on YouTube. I think this is from the Van Halen archive, who's been posting tons of great stuff. Mm-hmm. Is that our friends at the Van Halen store, or who does do we know who does the archive?
I don't. It's not Van Halen store because they've got their own. They're called Van Halen Vault, I think.
That's right.
That's what they're called. The Van Halen archive. They message me, but I don't know who they are.
They've been posting everything that's out there. It's great. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have checked it out. But
yeah. Oh yeah.
All the old bootleg shows, interviews, everything. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Out. Mm-hmm. Everybody up.
Yeah. Caleb, what do you got going on?
Sorry?
I said, what do you got going on tonight?
You're looking at it.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pacifico.
What are you drinking?
Pacifico? Pacifico is like the better Corona.
I think I saw a commercial for that recently. Is it fairly new on the market? Fairly? Oh, no. Are they pushing it?
No.
No, that's been around for a long time. Yeah.
Must be a West Coast thing.
Yeah. Well, you know Corona.
Pacifico.
You know Corona, right?
Right. Yeah, I know Corona.
Well, yeah, this is like they're neck and neck.
Okay. Is it Mexican? Is it
Yeah.
Okay. I got my Cabo Wabo. I'm drinking in the spirit of Steve Anderson. I got my rum and Coke.
Can someone explain the Nightbot thing to me?
That's basically just a bot to like help the chat room.
Oh, so it's not a person. Okay.
No, that's not a person. No.
Horrific.
No, it's.
Thank you, Nightbot.
Yeah, let's see who they ban on this show. You know, Johnny, you tweaked the settings a little bit, huh?
Yeah. The show we did earlier, the settings were set to where it would time anybody out if they posted emojis or if they did like too many emojis in a row.
Right.
or if you typed all caps,
anything out of the ordinary.
So people were like getting like timed out.
Yeah.
And we're like, what's going on? You know, why is that happening? And finally we figured out that's what it was. And so I went into the settings and I disabled all that stuff. So
Nice.
so it's not gonna mess with anybody. But basically right now what you're seeing is it has like timed comments, like links. And so like there's one for Caleb. Where was it? There's one where you can subscribe to Caleb's YouTube channel. There's one for you, John, that I made.
Yeah, every few minutes it pops up with a new a link. Still showing 7/8 Instagram.
Yeah, I left those in there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's let me know what. I mean, it's something that's still new, and I set it to where some of those links are like they're supposed to be posting like every 20 minutes. But
seems like it's every 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah,
I know. We gotta somebody count in between like that last one and like the next one, because maybe I gotta.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's supposed to be every 20 minutes. You're supposed to see one. It's not supposed to be every couple of minutes.
I'll let that go, thrash metal. See what the bot says about that.
Yeah.
So what's Steve doing tonight?
He said that he had a dinner. He had a dinner he had to go to.
Okay.
But you know how it is, though. I'm thinking he'll get home.
Yeah.
And be like, guys.
Right. Yeah. How late can a dinner go? I mean, I guess if it's at a bar, you can go till whenever. But it's just a regular.
Yeah. Well, because it's still kind of early here.
9.
No.
All right. Yeah. I'm at
12:25.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's been a long week. I went back to work this week. I teach in the local town, middle school. This year I'm working with 7th grade. We had a crazy week. We had a couple of half days because of the heat. Which is fairly odd. We've never had anything school canceled because of the heat, but it was rough this week. It was, in the high 90s, high humidity.
Mm-hmm.
And the school that we're in is a brand new school. It's got air conditioning, it's got everything, but a lot of the schools in the town don't. And on Wednesday, there was we had the kids until about 11. And then there was a manhunt in town. There was some guy on the loose with guns. He escaped from. Sorry, yeah, he escaped from wherever, and he was on the run. So we had to lock down the school. We had the kids until till a lot later that day. But yeah, it was a crazy afternoon on Wednesday. Yeah, they found the guy and. They got him in custody, so. But
he'll get to keep his guns.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to him.
Yeah, when I lived in Walnut Creek, they actually had one of those. There was like a manhunt for somebody.
Yeah, they had the choppers in the air. They had it was all over the news,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was a long week, yeah, and so we had a full week starting with meetings on Monday, and from Tuesday on we had the kids, and but we're back in the swing of things, so it was good to get a full week under our belt.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Nightbot for the Second Amendment. Very good, very good. Yes, but not in cases of insanity, obviously.
Yeah, man, that video behind you, man, that's way cleaner than the one I had. That I'm looking at that, and that's I've never seen that, because the one I had, you couldn't see. Oh yeah,
I think somebody really went in and did a lot of color correction and pushed it, because you can even almost tell what guitar Ed's playing. It's all just one static shot though from front of house, which like I said, I'm guessing it's probably either Pete or someone in the crew who wanted to. Maybe they did it every night. Maybe this is the one that got away. You know, I would assume, and I've said this before. You know, once video was easy to get.
Oh yeah, we had
stuff like this. Why wouldn't you shoot every show?
We had a video camera with a one of those VHS boxes that you
yeah.
You know, back in 1981, actually. So
right,
we were the first one to have it, but I'm sure.
Again, I mean, there's so much out there that we're not aware of, and you know, yeah, this one looks great. Memphis. Anyone from the Memphis area in the chat? Let's see. I got a few other dates that the guys were playing. In '78, let's see, September 2nd, they were in Pittsburgh at the Igloo with Sabbath. So another important date. Let's see, September 1st, 1980. Ed telephones Valerie for the first time after meeting her backstage on the 29th.
That's it.
So tonight, back in 1980, Ed contacted Val for the first time. Several other dates. Let's see, 86, they were in Rochester, New York. 91, they were in Illinois. Let's see, 1998 with Gary, they were in Syracuse, New York. And in 2015, they were in Cincinnati. Had to look up a few dates just to get a few bits of trivia out there.
Mm-hmm. Are you on Twitter, John?
I'm not on Twitter. I think I have an account, but I've never used it.
There's a Twitter account called what is it? It's a Van Halen one, and they every day.
Yeah,
they find something. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much. I get this from the Van Halen Encyclopedia, which is free online. Look it up, and it's got everything you could want to know up to 98. I guess that's when they start. The second edition was published in 98. But it's got all kinds of little tidbits. One other thing I found, 2012 on this date, Ed was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. This was the reason why they canceled several dates back in the 2012 tour. His diverticulitis. Or whatever it may have been. There's been a lot of rumors as to what it may have been besides that, but Ed was in good shape at those back in 2012. I think he was in a good place, so I don't think it was anything besides what they say it was.
No, I can't play center swing. Not yet. I'll learn that one, okay? Vintage Silence.
Fender Guru, what's the poll question? We're gonna have to think of that. I'm not sure yet.
What are the answers to last time?
Yeah, what was it? The best top 3 bass players? Is that what we had?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was because I've been seeing some comments past couple days. People leaving comments about that.
I'll give you my top 3. I would always say Entwistle. John Entwistle was the biggest influence when I first started playing bass years ago. Who else did I say? Jaco. Recently, I've discovered a lot of his stuff. Jaco Pastorius. There's a great documentary on Netflix. Just search Jaco, and if you're into a little bit of jazz, fusion, that stuff, it's a great documentary. Follows his career from his solo album in I think 74, something like that, through his tragic death. If you haven't heard the story about his death, go on Wikipedia or whatever. It's crazy, mysterious. He supposedly he always had an attitude, and he always wanted to fight whenever it presented itself. But he picked a fight with the wrong guy back in, I want to say, like 88, something like that, 86 maybe, and outside a bar, and I think he lived for a few days, but because of the damage that was done, he
got a bleed, I think.
He died shortly after. And what is it? The Bass of Doom, I think it's called. Another classic instrument. Originally, I think it was a Fender jazz bass. He pulled the frets out with a butter knife. Rob Trujillo from Metallica restored it recently. You can see those videos on YouTube. And,
wow, the actual bass?
Yeah, they found it in pieces, and Robert Trujillo made the documentary, and I think inside the documentary there's a whole they run down how they rebuilt it and everything. So Jocko, what did I say? Entwistle, Jocko, and I'd love to say Michael Anthony, but you know, he's. I can't say anything bad about him as a bass player. He's a great bass player. He's solid, and if you listen to a lot of the solo tracks that are out there, he doesn't miss a beat, and he is right in the pocket, just like a bass player, should be. So my third bass player, I can't think of who it was. It'll be a minute. What do you think, Johnny and Caleb? Who are your top three?
Well, I was sorry, Johnny.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was John Entwistle for sure. I always loved that he called himself a bass guitarist, not a bass player. So,
okay.
And, he was a different kind of player.
Well, I mean, he was the guy who was playing through full Marshall stacks back in 65, 66.
He was more adept, like he was more of a lead player than Pete.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But him, and then I love Geddy Lee.
I wanted to say Geddy too, but he's not.
He's too good. That band is so good. And I think John Paul Jones, just for what
John Paul Jones is great. Yeah,
going on there.
Victor Wooten was the third that I had. I followed Bela Fleck and throughout the 90s, throughout, I haven't really paid attention in the past 10 years or so, but for a long time I followed Bela Fleck, and Victor Wooten's amazing. If you haven't seen him, check him out. Probably one of the most virtuoso bass players that has ever lived. Beyond the other two, beyond Entwistle, beyond any. He's just a master. Victor Wooten.
Top three is hard. I think top six would have been easier.
Yeah, there's a lot of outliers. Like
I don't know if I can think of that many bass players. Can I just do a top one?
Geezer Butler. Geezer Butler is another one who's just, I think he falls in kind of the same category as Michael Anthony, where he fits right in the pocket, and he's always playing the right thing, holding down that low end.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the thing about Michael Anthony, it wasn't just his bass playing, it was his singing.
Absolutely.
His singing was a huge part of that sound.
Oh,
I feel bad because that's what everybody cites. That's what everybody always says, above his bass playing, above everything else, his singing was great, which is, credible, which is great. But again, he's underrated as a bass player. You listen to all those old, especially the older ones where you can really hear him, the earlier albums.
Mm-hmm.
I think later he got pushed down in the mix, but read the stories about behind the scenes with Mike, and it wasn't fair, but he played that role great, and he was again, the vocals were great too.
Yep. I see McCartney love in the chat. Definitely McCartney for sure.
Les Claypool, definitely.
Yeah, Dutchie. Yeah, what top 3 was it? I'm gonna say McCartney is one of them for me.
Yeah, he's up there, top 10 anyway.
Let me see. Can I say Eddie on bass?
I gotta go back to that album and listen to the bass. It's a great album, and I know I played the heck out of it back in the day, but I never really listened to the bass track.
John Bullard saying Steve Harris from Iron Maiden.
Steve Harris, I was just watching that. Just watching Iron Maiden in Long Beach. Watched that between shows.
That's not an easy sound.
And he's another one who's kind of like Entwistle. He's got that lead sound. You know, a little bit of distortion in the bass, a lot of high end, but a great tone anyway.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, so yeah, Paul McCartney for me. Sorry, I'm eating. I'm almost done. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen on bass. You know,
that's not fair. I don't think you can do that.
Well, he played bass on that Sammy record.
Well, he did, but he's not a bass player.
But that solo he did on Winner Takes It All, man.
I got to listen to that again.
I love it. I love that. So him, and then I'd have to say Sting.
Oh yeah, all right.
There you go. And Howie.
Sting's got the groove.
Oh, he's great. You know, listen to the bass on Every Breath You Take. You know, I mean that whole song. I just put up the instrumental version of that, or the guitar track to it, I guess, on my Facebook.
Well, the amount that he fills in for a 3-piece, the amount that he fills the sound for a 3-piece is he's like Paul McCartney. You know, he's creative, and he's
because he wrote all those.
He knows his theory.
He writes all those songs, and so he plays the bass like it's a main instrument. He's playing all the different parts. You know.
Hey, John Taylor's a good bass player.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
John Taylor.
I didn't want to get made fun of, but yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Chris Squire.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 The late Chris Squire.
Yeah.
Who else is out there? I mean, it's unfortunate for bass players. I played bass for a long time, and all through college, I played bass, and you know, some of the greatest bass players that just held, you know, like Bill Wyman, who were just doing the right thing, playing and you're not going to notice the bass track unless you really listen. Not that it's buried in the mix, but it's just. It fits perfectly, and it's subtle, and it's something you feel more than you hear.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the key to a great bass player. You know.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Douglas, no, you're not blocked. I see you. Yeah.
Ray Manzarek is a great bass player on keyboard.
The mysterious missing bass player of the Doors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he didn't just play the bass tracks himself. No, Ray was the keyboard player, right?
No, he was the keyboard.
He was the guitarist. Yeah, Ray was the keyboard player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbie Krieger was the guitar player.
Robbie Krieger. So why didn't Robbie play the bass on? Since they didn't have a bass player. They always had a studio musician, or usually, if not.
I think Ray. That was his style. Was that he was playing the bass parts and the melody all at once. and so he was very proud of that, I think. So that was like his thing. So,
but it was such an name another band that didn't have a bass player, only had an organist or a keyboard player. You know,
who played with Genesis?
Who played bass? Mike Rutherford always played bass, but he did both bass and guitar. And Tony Banks probably did a lot of the bass keyboards.
Yeah.
One of the magazines I found. What is this? 95.
No, right.
Mikey. So this was just before. This was November '95, probably after the '95 tour, the Balance tour, right? Let's see. When was Balance going till?
The end of '95.
Yeah. So this was sort of in the middle. Definitely, the interview was definitely in the middle of the Balance tour. I think the problem with me back in the day. Here's a great ad with Mike. Back in the day, I cut out every picture I could find. I cut them out. I didn't care. And I put them on my wall. I had a full wall in my bedroom as a kid, probably all through high school, just wallpapered with Van Halen, everything I could find. I have pictures of it somewhere. I lost the pictures. I've been searching for them for years. The last time I saw the pictures was maybe 5 or 10 years ago. They're out there somewhere in all my boxes of stuff, but unfortunately, a lot of these magazines got torn up because I cut every picture out, even books. You know, I cut everything out and put it up on the wall. I haven't reread this article, but this magazine's in good condition, so it's I'll have to reread the article about Mikey on the '95 tour. But let's see. Here's an example of what I did with, I got the Women and Children First, and it had tons of pictures, but the whole back is cut off. So I ripped out all the back pictures. The music charts, I don't think it's tab. I think it's just straight notation. But unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that I had with the boys is all torn up. And long gone.
There's some questions about Genesis. I believe Chester Thompson played most of the set on drums, but
Chester and Phil would play. They'd both play, and they'd do.
Isn't Phil a left-handed drummer? Am I wrong?
Yep.
Yeah. So there were two kids, and they would play together sometimes, and then I think some songs Phil would play himself. But
I think for the most part, it would be, Phil would do the vocals on most of the songs. He'd play a jam at the end. If you watch some of their concert videos, a lot of the songs are extended into jams with Phil on the drums. Wembley, 87 is a great Genesis show.
I always thought that Live Aid Zeppelin reunion was a very strange choice to have him play drum.
To have Phil on drums
Yes, I always was like, of all.
Now wasn't Phil Collins the guy who played both shows? Yeah, he flew on the Concorde.
Yeah.
He played Wembley first, and then JFK. Is it JFK?
Yep.
Philadelphia. So is that what did Zeppelin play in Philadelphia or London? Okay. So that was his second spot. He played like a solo spot first in Wembley.
I believe he did a solo set early at Wembley and then got on plane. There's probably videos.
That's a video I got to check out because I love those. I was watching the Freddie Mercury concert, the tribute a few weeks ago, and when it's an all-star cast like that, even though they're playing shortened sets, you know, the crowd is into it, and it's just a mayhem. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I remember watching the Queen set live, while it was happening, and realizing that was maybe the best, you know, half an hour in just rock history.
Well, that's what the new movie coming out. I think that's where it ends, and if you watch the trailer, it's beautiful. You see Freddie Mercury walking out on stage with 100,000 people at Wembley Stadium.
Incredible. When he's got everyone clapping during Radio Gaga.
Yep.
They're all clapping at once. It's just insane.
I can't wait to see that film. That's great. And the actor,
Rami Malek. Rami.
What is it? Rami? Yeah. I loved him in the Pacific. Did you ever see that from HBO?
Yes.
Great War series.
Yeah.
Back several years ago.
I love the theme song. I still have the theme song on my iPod.
Yeah, it's kind of I can picture the opening titles with had like the chalk drawing the scenes from Iwo Jima and all that.
Your brothers and that.
Band of Brothers, Generation KILL, and the Pacific are great series. Yeah, I love all those HBO. Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, I think, were part of that.
Johnny, still eating?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Oh.
I'm trying to chew fast.
Mad Dogs, you were at Live Aid in Philly?
Yeah, no, really. Awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah. Historic.
You get him in here, tell some stories.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Phil played Wembley and Philly. You know,
Billy Collins.
Philly Collins. See if you can figure out what song we're watching here. I think it's Dave's Rap. It might be Dave's Rap. Either that or the whiskey interlude. Oh, he's talking to Al. I don't know. I don't have the audio from it. I got the audio, but I'm not listening to it.
A little drums and bass guitar.
Ba-doo-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. So who remembers this shot here, this video? Let's see if I can get it. You see that?
Yep.
A little ain't enough. My first anything related to Van Halen concert, 91. Dave. The album was great with Jason Becker on guitar. Unfortunately, he couldn't tour. Probably the last tour that Dave was really spectacular at. Doing the high jump. The only one left from the Eat 'Em and Smile tour, I think, was not Billy Sheehan, Greg Bissonette. The other guys, unfortunately, Brett Tuggle, Desi Rex on guitar, and who's this guy?
Matt Bissonette, still like the Bissonette brothers.
Todd Jensen on guitar. Joe Holmes. Looks like he had two guitar players. Maybe, I don't know if they were at the same, both in the same show or if they were at different parts of the tour. So we get Joe Holmes playing a Jackson here. and Desi Rex playing the Explorer.
What happened to Joe Holmes?
I don't know. Do you know?
No. Where are these?
And yeah, and that was kind of the end of where Dave jumped the shark.
There it is.
Jumped the shark right there. But I remember the video. What was it? What song was that? I don't know. Was it Sensible Shoes or one of the songs from that album? But the giant stack of Marshalls. Is it real? Some of them look real. The bottom ones are way too big to be 4x12s. If you look at the girls.
Yeah.
But the top ones they've got the JCM tag, I think. Is it JCM? Is that what the cabs were called? Caleb, what were the cabs called?
JCM 800s or something?
All right. So those look real, but I highly doubt they built a 20-foot stack of Marshalls. But it was before Photoshop, so.
Yeah.
Dave's got the pouty look in every one of these pictures. Every one of them. No smile, just the pout.
Well, he already ate him and smiled. So.
Yeah. The huge Jeep the Jeep. Dave loved the fitness models. That was his. Throughout California Girls and throughout these videos, he always had the jacked up women.
Okay, I'm here.
Johnny's back. And let's see, I wanted to show you guys this Ibanez catalog. We had a few of our friends in this Ibanez catalog. Besides Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, we've got, let's see, Alex Skolnick. This is a 93 Ibanez catalog. Like I said, I found all these old catalogs and magazines back in my parents' house.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Mitchell on this side here.
Wow.
Yeah. Larry Mitchell. Been on Johnny's show a few times. And we've got our little friend Thomas McRocklin.
Nice.
He's endorsing the RG series.
Very cool.
Amanda found Joe Holmes. So he's
What's that?
Still playing in a band.
Still playing.
Pharmacos. Good get, Amanda.
Yeah, he came into I used to work at a guitar shop in Berkeley in the 90s, and he came in one time. I had just missed him, so I didn't meet him or see him, but I remember he left some guitar picks, and they had his name on them. And yeah,
it sounds like he was a session or / tour guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody look up his bio on Wiki.
Talking 1991, it was like peak shredder, in the business.
that was the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, gee,
Speaking of 91, summer 91 hit parade.
Still rocking the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hardly remember these magazines, but it looks like, Hit Parader was. I mean, these were all just rock magazines.
Parader, Circus, and Cream.
Van Halen's in there. Let's see if I cut out the Van Halen pictures. I'm sure I did. 91. Look at half a page cut out. Joe Elliott. I've got to find those pictures of my room back in the 90s. It was just wall to wall wallpaper of Van Halen. Everything. I would go to the library and look, another one. I'd go to the library and just go through, like they had the Rolling Stone catalogs, like
you
archives.
cut out all the pictures from the library.
You got it.
And return them.
That's it.
That was you, John?
That was me.
That was him? Yeah, what I used to do, I never cut the pictures out of the magazines. You know, I wanted to keep them, you know, in great condition.
I should have. Here's Lita Ford with a Mockingbird. I got my Mockingbird. Great guitar.
Yeah. Oh, look at her fretboard. We were just talking about.
That's right.
Fretboards like that.
Lita Ford. Yeah.
You should take a picture of that and post that in the Discord.
Yeah.
Under that, because we were talking about that just the other day.
The Lita Ford fretboard.
But no,
she gets a pass because at that time she was a hot. Yeah, she was looking good with that Mockingbird.
Hey, Tessie Switch. Hey, man. No, but what I would do was, you know, I'd have the magazines. I'd buy them, you know, for the cool pictures and stuff. But I would go down to the library or the college library, and I would photocopy the pictures and put those up on the wall. The photocopies.
Yeah. Black and white, or did you get color?
Yeah. No. So they'd be in black and white.
I'd just rip them out.
Love it. The forethought to save them. Like, I need these pristine in some, you know, in decades from now.
This striper. Look at the hair on this guy.
Oh,
wow. And you get Dawkins up above that.
Oh my goodness.
This was the pretty much the end of the hairband era. These guys were just hanging on to everything left of it.
They used up all the Aquanet.
Living Color on the back. Yeah. 25 years of metal.
I had that one.
How many years has this is Hit Parader again?
It's been 25 years since
94. So this was 94. Yeah. Assuming that metal started in what, 69?
50 years ago.
Heavy Metal Thunder. That's the first mention of it, right? Ever.
So what do you guys consider the cutoff between metal and hard rock? To me, the pinnacle of hard rock and like a perfect hard rock tune is Panama. If anyone would say, what's the difference? Panama is, to me, hard rock, the pinnacle of it.
I thought people were gonna totally let me have it on Facebook the other day because I don't know what page it was, but somebody asked if Van Halen was hair metal. I think. Did you guys see that, Caleb? Did you see that post?
No, but
it got like hundreds of responses to it.
Maybe hair, but not metal.
They said, yeah. And so, but my comment was, no, Van Halen's pop.
Ooh.
And I got like a couple of people, you know, laugh emoji or whatever.
They certainly had their pop,
but
hits,
if you were talking about Panama, to me that's more pop than hard rock.
Really?
I always like Dave's term was big rock.
Mm-hmm.
AC/DC is hard rock. They're not metal. I wouldn't call them metal. AC/DC's probably the poster child for hard rock. Def Leppard, you know, and Van Halen. They're right up there in the top. Hard rock was more of a 70s and 80s thing, but and metal was
Zeppelin's hard rock.
Yeah. Metal didn't come along until the mid 80s.
Metal's like a look, you know, it's like leather and studs. That's what I always thought.
But would you consider Judas Priest metal? I guess they considered themselves heavy metal. So
yeah,
Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Anything with super heavy guitars,
like the dual guitars
and fast drums, to me is metal.
And guys in sync, you know, going back and forth with their headstocks. You know.
But then you contrast that with something like Metallica or even something Anthrax or Are those heavy metal? Are those guys heavy metal?
Those got speed metal.
So it's a separate.
The thing is, all these bands, they're however they start off to be, whether they're metal, usually heavier. Let's say they're heavy metal, hard rock, speed metal. But once they have that hit song, they're pop.
Yeah.
Right.
And they become, So that's why I'm saying Panama. To me, it's
Jump. I would say was the pinnacle. Their pop hit.
Oh yeah, I mean Jump obviously is because the keyboards and the chorus.
But Panama, and especially Hot for Teacher were different than anything else that was on the radio. Hot for Teacher was certainly that didn't fit the 1984 pop.
Oh yeah,
but
it's rock's version of pop.
Right
is what it is. Unlike the new wave stuff that's on, which everybody says is pop and sucks, and and it's all good, right?
It's all good.
Thumbs up.
It's all great to me. It's all rock,
It's all music, no matter what it is. And music is the one thing, and I don't want to get cheesy. It's
I can respect anybody who's making music with respect to the music, if they're not I hate to come down on hip hop and that kind of stuff, or even pop music, that there's so much of it out there that's prefabricated, or the artist has such little input on it, where it's a producer who's setting up the drum tracks and the bass tracks, and the artist comes in for a week and lays down a few vocals.
Well, these days the artist 10 times out of 10 doesn't even write the song.
Right. That's what I mean. Producer.
They pick. Yeah, they get presented with songs, and the producer says, "Hey, I think this would be a good song for you. This could be a hit, or this could be a single," and that's why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they sing it and they make it their own. But you look at the credits and their name is not on there, or they change a word, or they put they get their name in there.
But then again, wasn't that Michael Jackson? Wasn't that Quincy Jones? Didn't he pretty much write Thriller? Or was it Michael? I don't know.
Well, I've heard tapes of Michael actually singing the parts.
And I know he put a lot into it, and obviously,
he's singing the drums and he's singing the melody.
Oh, really?
Billie Jean. So they played those.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that on like the? There was an anniversary edition of Thriller that came out several years ago.
I remember Howard Stern playing the tapes. So I remember hearing them. So they were released somewhere. But yeah,
was it Michael Jackson or was that Prince?
No, it was Michael Jackson that's singing.
Did Michael Jackson get a producer credit on that album, or was it just Quincy Jones?
It's just Quincy.
That's what I thought. I always credited that album with Quincy Jones, but I'll always respect Michael Jackson. His input to pop music was, amazing.
There was no accident. I remember the Off the Wall record. I loved it. Like, that was before rock for me. That was.
Was that 79, 80?
79, I believe.
Yeah.
There's some great tunes on that.
Somebody 7/8 says Thriller was written by Rod Temperton. Was that the song Thriller, or was it the full album?
The song.
I thought it was written by Vincent Price.
Yeah, Mike had his problems though, right? We're seeing in the chat.
Yeah, and we're not going to discuss that. He was an amazing performer and vocalist. This is one that I found, let's see, August 94 with Robert Trujillo, well before he was in Metallica. The cover of Bass Player. Infectious Grooves. Suicidal Tendencies and Infectious Grooves. I always liked that. Back in the early 90s, I guess I had a lot of friends who turned me on to stuff like Suicidal Tendencies, Anthrax. There was a local club that we would go to. I saw Overkill there. I saw a lot of death metal there. I saw Deicide. I saw, who else did I see? Sick of It All. Biohazard. A lot of those bands that, it was a small club, maybe 500-800 people. Down at the beach, I saw a bunch of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
How would you guys say your tastes have evolved since you've from middle school to high school? And I mean, I was definitely, I followed a lot of my friends and was turned on to a lot of music from guys that I hung out with, and that's where I discovered like Zeppelin. It wasn't until high school that I really discovered the Beatles, the Stones, Zeppelin, a lot of that older stuff. When I was in high school, early 90s, it was that stuff was all retro, but now it's like retro. I see kids at school who are wearing Zeppelin t-shirts, Aerosmith t-shirts. They have no idea who those guys are, but they're wearing their Guns N' Roses t-shirts and Black Sabbath t-shirts just because it's cool, And I love it. I love to see that. Rush.
Because all that stuff, well, that's where I got this. It's all at Target.
Yeah, yeah.
Target has
Walmart, Target, yeah,
the whole section. I would say for me, the music I liked, Van Halen, junior high.
Honestly, Van Halen was one of the first bands that I remember. I mean, I was 10 years old in '84, and I remember having that cassette. I remember all the songs on that cassette from '84, and enjoying that cassette in '84. One of the first cassettes I ever got. So that was probably the foundation of my, loving Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
And the videos, of course. I mean, burn out.
I thought the videos were funny. That was the main thing back then. I liked, Hot for Teacher. I thought it was funny. But throughout, from junior high to high school, it was pretty much Van Halen. I mean, for me. And people would say, "Hey, what do you think of Zeppelin?" They're okay. I've really never been a huge fan of them, mainly because of the I've never been into the singing.
Right.
It's just if something gets on your nerves, you can't. Just never been into his voice.
Zeppelin was huge in my high school. I can remember, everybody had the jean jacket, everybody had the patches and everything. I definitely had the Zeppelin patch. I had, and a lot of the guys that were, just rockers, Zeppelin was always the top. I can remember
the Stoners. Euro labeled stoners.
I don't know. At the time, I don't know who the Stoners were, but it was definitely probably those guys that turned me on to Zeppelin.
I was called a stoner, and I didn't do drugs at all.
Right.
But because I liked that music, and I had the hair, and I did smoke cigarettes.
Acid rock. I mean, that's what they called, acid rock. That stuff. the early '70s Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult, that kind of stuff was.
Well, I mean, you know,
stoner rock, acid rock.
Well, I mean, what's scary is like what you were talking about, the stuff that was on classic radio back then that was considered old. Really, back then, that stuff was only like maybe 10 years old at that point.
Right.
And so it wasn't old.
Classic rock as a genre came up in the mid '80s, I think. I know the local classic rock station around here is celebrating their 35th anniversary, something like that. So, and they were always just quote classic rock. And they got Ozzy coming up this week on their 35th or whatever anniversary.
But I mean, yeah, it's trippy. You think about it. You know, you're driving around in high school and you're listening to Joe Walsh and stuff that you're thinking, oh man, this is old.
The Eagles was huge, yeah.
It's only maybe, you know, some of that stuff could have been 5 years ago.
Right.
But to you, when you're at that age, it's old.
Right.
Old stuff. And there isn't a day that goes by where some radio station is playing the Eagles and all those songs every freaking day.
Past Michael Jackson.
Well, out in your area out west, what kind of? I know here in the Boston area, we have several classic rock stations, but between Boston and New Hampshire, is it easy to find on the radio out there? I'm assuming it is. I mean, the LA sound was, you know, rock. It was always rock. Or the California sound.
Yeah. I mean, there's one station still living in LA. It's been around since '74.
Really?
ALOS. It's like the only rock station.
Really?
Several have come and gone, but
yeah.
In this area, I can think of 3 in the Boston area and 2 in New Hampshire that are, or 3 in New Hampshire that are all classic rock. I think it's huge. I think it's big out here. I think it's bigger out here than it is in a lot of places.
It's classic rock is way bigger in the Midwest and the East Coast than it is out here.
Yeah.
You know, out here in San Francisco, there was maybe 2 classic rock stations, and one of them's gone now. So really, there's one station. And now with, you know, Pandora and Spotify, people don't listen to it anymore.
Music on demand, everything's changed. No one's gonna buy ad space to listen to rock music anymore.
And people don't believe me when it's like, okay, yeah, Van Halen, they're from California. Everybody must love them out there. No, where I live, that's not the style of music here at all. And this is California, where I am. You know, LA, definitely. I mean, I remember staying at an Airbnb. I went to NAMM one year, and I stayed at an Airbnb, and the guy there that was, you know, the guy's house, he was telling me, you know, that Van Halen is a huge part of Los Angeles, and what was he saying? He knew, he actually knew Roth's uncle. The one that passed away, the one that owned that club in New York,
the Wawa,
Cafe Wah, yeah,
Cafe Wah, yeah.
This guy was telling me that he knew him and he actually hung out with him and stuff. And
my aunt was operated on by Dave's father, Dr. Roth. She had, I think, back surgery from Dr. Roth back in the early '90s.
And did you know it was him?
Oh, I wanted her to get me backstage passes. I was like, "Can you talk to him? Can you get me? That was the Little Ain't Enough tour.
You were like trying to break your arm so you could get
whatever I could. Yeah, I mean,
at that point, Main Street's intro behind you.
Oh, he's playing. Yeah, and he's got the striped socks, in the knickers all the way up there. Crazy.
Oh, that's the guitar solo.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the so that's the tour where he was playing that early version of Cathedral that was really creepy sounding. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was Cathedral, but it was more like kind of it had a much darker sound to it.
Yeah. Didn't sound like a.
I sent you guys. I don't know if I sent Caleb. I know I sent Johnny the '81 show from where was it?
This
Greensboro?
Greensboro, yeah, the Greensboro
The
show.
audio.
Yeah.
Oh, this
which
okay.
is one of the great.
It's
yeah,
right here.
There you go.
There it is.
With like the 5-minute vamp in the beginning because Roth was late to the stage or something. There was something.
Go to my YouTube channel. I got a whole video that I synced to that. It's not from the show itself, but I synced it from a bunch of sources. And I think the bot has probably put my my email up there or my YouTube channel a couple times.
Well, no, the thing about the Nightbot is I set it to where it would post all that stuff like every 20 minutes.
Right.
You know.
Howie.
Sorry, yeah, Howie. I would set it to where it was supposed to be sending those links every 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 22. But for some reason it didn't. So I went and re-edited everything. So
I
now
don't see it now.
Yeah, you guys won't be seeing those links now for like an hour.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress.
Right. You can click on my my avatar. I think you can get to it. But yeah, I made a that intro from the Greensboro show, which was unique. I don't think they, from any other recording out there, they jammed for on fire as the opening song. They jammed for like 3 minutes. There was obviously a technical problem. From what I can tell, I always thought it was Mike because I couldn't hear anything from Mike on the audio, and in the middle of it he comes in and they finish the jam and then they go into On Fire. But if you haven't checked out that Greensboro '81 On Fire, just search that, and I put from a lot of the '84 from a lot of sources I put a video together of On Fire of with all the vocals synced and everything, but unfortunately there's no video of that actual show. There's the audio. I synced what I could find from the Montreal show, from the Memphis show, from this show here. But yeah, check it out on my channel.
Yeah, man. My video didn't look anything like that. Look at that. If I would have, I can say I've never seen that because literally never seen it.
It's still really poor. I mean, it's out of focus. You can't see anything.
Oh, but no, to me that's amazing compared to what I had.
Well, the audio is still horrible.
Mine, think of trying to watch Cinemax, and you don't have Cinemax.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what that looks like?
The scrambled look. Yeah, yeah.
That's what my video looked like, but worse.
Right.
So to me, like right there, what I'm seeing on your TV, that to me that looks amazing.
Well,
I'd love to watch that.
It's a better generation, I think. And like I said, somewhere out there, there's a master of this.
Looks great.
That's probably pretty clear, and I mean, it's pretty bad, and the audio is pretty bad too. That's my problem with a lot of the boots that are out there. I mean, there's so many shows, even full shows from the Monsters of Rock tour, the '86 tour, anything before like the '91, '92 tour. The audio is pretty bad. Montreal '84, it's an amazing show, but there's no good audio for it. It's all from that camcorder and distorted, and unfortunately, it's hard to watch. I don't know if you can see back here. I got my a lot of when I'm listening to a lot of these shows, I'm putting it through the EQ, compressor, EQ, BBE. Just to try and get everything I can get out of it, get the best mix I can get out of it.
Playing that part now, right?
But if you're listening to it as it is on YouTube, it's tough. But hey, it's all we got, so we're loving it. look at Ed. He's having a great time back in '81.
Yeah.
He's still playing the solo, guys. I mean, how long has it been? 10 minutes anyway?
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen that, man. I'm going to have to look that up.
I think I got this right from YouTube.
Mm-hmm. It looks like whoever put that up it looks like they really zoomed in, because the one that I had was way further back.
Well, I think this is the camera zooming in, not like an after the fact edit zoom in. Because you go back to other parts of the show and it's way out there. We're at 9 minutes. See, this is all back.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I remember seeing like that style, but as far as like that close up, maybe I just never watched. I've never watched the entire video.
You can't get it
the way it looked.
One of the best highlights of this show is Sunday Afternoon in the Park. He plays the keyboards on that, and they go into Romeo Delight. So he's got the guitar on him the whole time, playing the keyboards, and he goes right into Romeo. Oh, he's having fun, man. Those are the tours. I mean, a few weeks ago, I guess you guys, or even last week, you guys were saying which tour would you love to go back and be front row in?
That one.
For me, it's the shows that I know that the band was getting along. The '86 tour, these tours, the '83 tour, '82.
What was he just spinning around?
I don't know.
He grabbed something and he tossed it.
Oh yeah,
panties on the mic stand or something.
I don't know what that is, but there's somebody behind him who's giving. Or yeah, there's somebody out there. Tambourine or something. I don't know. And that's it. I mean, all the things that were like one-offs that they did at. He did at one show, like I was saying earlier, the On Fire intro, or the when they did Growth in 1986. The stuff that they just was spur of the moment, and was just only at that show. The early Girl Gone Bad jams, those are the treasures that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they were doing that as early as mid '82. If you watch the Maryland Largo 1982, they do the jamming during Bottoms Up on that one. Probably one of the earlier versions of that, well before '84, And then you got the US Festival and the South American tour. I think they jammed on that quite a bit. So what's going on in the chat? How's everybody doing? Jay's in there.
Jay's holding court.
Jay plays in a metalcore progressive band. What? Gizmachi.
Let me see. He sent me. Jay sent me something.
Still plays in there, but
no, I haven't talked about that yet, Amanda. Oh, and look out, Nightbot's back. Look out, you guys.
Yeah, 3 million, Johnny. Talk about it.
Yeah. Hey, Douglas.
That's amazing. That's crazy. How many years have you been on, Johnny?
3 million years.
Wow.
To me, it's not crazy, because to me, it's been a long time, and it seems like that's not.
And you've seen the progress.
It's not enough. It should be way more than that. But I think I actually do have more views than that, because when I log in, let me show you. Let me show you what it looks like. Where did I see this? Let me see if I can find it. I said this the other day. I don't well, I've been on YouTube since 2006. So however long that's been.
12 years.
12,
wow.
roughly a little over 12 years. So it's been a while, and I've made, I don't know how many videos I have, 2,000 videos or something.
Right.
You know, quite a few. So for me, I don't remember like the first million. I don't recall that, because back then I didn't care. You know, I for years I didn't care about subscribers. I didn't care about thumbs ups, you know, that whole thing. And I would say within the past couple years, it's been more like, hey, you know, thumbs up, subscribe, you know. I just didn't care. I would make a video, put it up, you know, if people dug it, cool. But let's see, when I look, and so Caleb sent me a message, it would have been last week sometime, saying, hey, you're so many away from 3 million views. I forget what number it was.
Like 6,000.
6,000 or what? Yeah. And okay, let me see if I can show you what I see. Okay, no, it's not this one. Okay, well, publicly. Okay. Basically, it says I've got 3,883 views. So, but how did I see that? I think if I log in under like my own thing, I'm like, oh, I'm over. I'm like when Caleb said, Johnny, you're close to 3 million. I looked, and I'm like, huh? I had passed 3 million
right.
a long time ago.
Well, I'm sure for the owner of the channel yourself, you can see different information than we can see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Real-time views in the past 48 hours. The channel's had 1,600 views.
It's not bad for 48 hours.
In the past 60 minutes, the past hour, we've had about 100 views. It says.
Nice.
The past week, 6,136 views. Yeah, I tend to get roughly close to 30,000 views a month. Roughly. It's a little.
That's impressive.
It's a little low now. I'm down to like 24,000. But when I look at lifetime views, here's what I looked at, and I was like, huh? For me, and I'm going to try to explain this. I don't know if I can. But for me, my total views are 3,030,089 views.
Significantly higher than just 3 million, yeah.
And we didn't get 30,000 views since yesterday. Right. Okay. So what I'm thinking happened. Here's one thing I think that this might explain it. Maybe. Welcome back, Nightbot. I love you, Nightbot. I remember, what year is this? 2018. I would say probably 10 years ago, I made a video that got featured on Van Halen News Desk. And somebody I've known the guy who owns that site. I've known him for 25 years or whatever. But
isn't it the same guys who do the store?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name?
Jeff Hausman. Yeah, Van Halen store. And so what I'm thinking happened was I did a video, and it got featured on Van Halen News Desk like 10 years ago. And for some reason, I'm thinking I'm going to get some sort of copyright thing on this video. So I deleted it. And this was after it got featured. So I'm thinking it got like the 30,000 views, and then I deleted the video, and somehow those views either stay on the channel, or it's possible I've got a bunch of videos that are like unlisted. that nobody sees, but they racked up all these views, but public, like, for some reason publicly they don't count.
Oh, there you go. That's probably
Right.
But for me, inside they do. That's probably what it is.
Right.
Either way, it's
sorry.
it's all good. I mean, either way, it's cool. You know.
Thanks, Nightbot. Thank you.
Yeah, how's that? Is that better timing from Nightbot? Is it a little more spaced out? Because when I first set up Nightbot, I set it up to post the links every like 20 minutes.
Did you name him Nightbot?
No, that's what it's called.
You can't rename it?
That one you can't. There's another one that you can, which is more complicated to get set up. That one I'm trying to set up.
Should have we should rename it, like, you know. We should have like people chime in on what we should name the bot.
Mm-hmm. Is Steve in here? I see someone talking about Steve.
Howie, right? Howie the bot.
Yeah.
Steve Anderson is here.
And just to let you guys know that the Nightbots, that's not everybody uses that stuff. It's just a new thing that I've it's something I've been trying to get set up for this for a long time, and I think once you guys get used to it, it'll be a little more normal. But I don't mean to be spamming you guys with all these links.
David Lee bot. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool. It's cool. Like John BL's here, Caleb's here, and to have something pop up that has, subscribe to John BL. I mean, it's cool.
I got a few videos that you can check out on my channel. Nothing. I mean, I'm not one to be posting guitar instruction or anything like that. But Van Halen, anyway, I got a few things on there. Recently, I put. I think I shared it on the Discord. I found a bunch of us festival, kind of behind the scenes stuff with like radio announcements and stuff. So I created an Us Festival intro, a Van Halen intro, that starts with an Us Festival ad that was on TV, goes to the backstage party they were having, and then it goes out to the crowd for about 3 or 4 minutes before the band starts, and you get the radio announcers saying Van Halen's, walking to the stage. We're with the entourage. We're stepping on the stage now. Can you see us? And it's like,
yeah, I remember that live.
Check it out. Check it out on my channel.
I remember listening to that live.
I just put a rough edit together of it's just everybody loves the who was it? Was it Rudy who did the
yes,
the intros?
Southern California.
the mighty Van Halen intros, and the Us Festival was.
Are you ready to get down?
That's it. That's it.
The mighty.
From when I heard that I got the VHS through the mail back in the early 90s of the Us Festival.
Oh, for me, it was 1990 when I first saw that.
Oh my God. I can remember. Yes. Snail mail. I waited probably 12 weeks for that. When I got that and I sat down, it was the only thing that you had. I mean, MTV would play the videos, but you couldn't find a concert anywhere of Van Halen, except, I mean, even at that time you did have Live Without a Net, but I don't think I had it.
That's all there was.
That's all there was. To see a full 2+ hours of Van Halen, and to know that was like the biggest show they ever played.
I remember getting it off Kazaa back in like the mid 2000s. Remember that? Like,
along with
75 viruses.
Yeah.
My computer. But yeah, I finally saw the whole show because all I'd seen were the 3 songs they put out on HBO or Showtime where they did the Us Festival special.
Right.
And Van Halen doctored up their songs, so I remember that.
Let me see if this is the one that I did. That's just the interview.
Jeff Gonzer. Yeah, these are all like KMET, KLOS.
What's his name?
Well, he said, I don't know who he was. I don't think it was MTV because they're swearing all over the place.
That's a Los Angeles DJ.
Yeah, his name's Jeff Gonzer, and that's the pre-tape. They did that a month before. That's not really live.
Oh, okay, right.
No,
but some of this audience shots that I found, these ones are great. These are all from the, 300,000.
You can tell that pre-tape because Eddie's got that rosewood, arrowhead neck on his Frankenstein.
The Dan Electro, yeah.
That he was using during for the Brian
Starfleet, yeah.
Because on the US Festival he has the
Kramer neck, the beak.
Kramer neck, yeah. The chicken, is it the chicken?
Yeah,
the hawk neck or something like that.
So yeah.
I don't know where I put
that first thing on there. That first thing, yeah, I'd never seen that. That's pretty cool. That first in the video that you did.
Right.
Because you showed me that video like a week ago.
Yeah.
And so if you guys look at the video, you look at my comment, even though it was just published today, my comment's like a week old on there. And that first part, that official US Festival commercial or whatever, that was pretty cool.
Right here. Steve Wozniak walks up.
And that's what's his name? The fastest talker in the world?
Fast talker. That guy who was all throughout the
FedEx commercial.
Yeah.
And he makes, if you listen to it, he makes so many mistakes. He's saying like, the biggest sound system in the world. He's got all the makeup on.
That guy.
So all these shots were from the US Festival '82.
And there's the man right there.
And I don't know what that was. That was another part of the show. Trying to find the one that I put the full one that I put together, but it's in there somewhere. What else do I got?
Yeah, they had simulcasts on any other stations around the country because they had it on.
So the video that's circulated, I know they have like you said, the Showtime or HBO edit with pretty much the encore. From what I've heard, the US Festival footage, the full show that's out there, I don't know what the heck this is. Get out of here.
Uh-oh.
The US Festival footage that's out there was one of the camera guys got. Oh, you can't see me in my back. Yeah, my battery's gonna die. I'll change over to my iPhone.
Uh-oh.
My iPad. But before I change over, the footage that's out there, the edit, it's not anything that was broadcast. The full show that you can get, that we all got from snail mail from years ago, it was nothing. Goodness, come on, stop.
That wasn't actually on TV back then?
It was never on TV. But the guys that were in the film crew, the guys that were the videographers, they all had their own feed of the edit that was being shown to the crowd. So one of the guys that was a cameraman, had or maybe the guy that was editing it, whoever, had a VHS or had he made a dub while the show was being broadcast to the crowd. It wasn't anything that was. Look back in the archives. Nobody ever broadcast the full show. It was only something that somebody bootlegged from either a camera feed or something like that. And you can even see in the film, there's the color bars that come up in the middle of it. There's a lot of strange edits.
Oh. While Roth is doing his acoustic thing, right?
That's right. That's right. And you can see the one that was released a few years ago, the Girl Gone Bad jam. It's completely different. It's a completely different edit.
Oh no, the clean one, the really good
clean one? Yes. Right.
Like, where's that footage from the whole show?
It's that company, Historic Films or something like that has all the rights to to that
because
to those films. And I'm sure, you know, if Ed wanted to release it, he could get all of them too. But
the quality in that 9-minute video is insane.
And that's the one that everyone wanted to see. That's the one, the 9 minutes of the show that everybody loves. When I saw that for the first time, I mean, I rewound that 20 times. I mean,
I know, but I'd love to see his solo in that quality. You know, like
exactly. There's high. Jeez, what's going on? There's definitely high quality. You know, back at that time, it was 3/4-inch video.
Yeah.
You know, the U-matic video. There's all the camera angles. A lot of the other bands that played that day, there's full sets of high quality footage. Judas Priest has a great set right on YouTube in high quality. It's out there somewhere, buried in an archive.
It's with all those. It's with all those extra trans trems.
Yeah, and not to mention the full. Johnny, a long time ago, I sent you the whole technical. There's a whole technical. You know, the guys that were on the tech crew that are talking about the different consoles, the PA system, the video, and everything that went into that show. I'll post it on the Discord. It's amazing to see what went into that show, the tech that went into that show, and so. The guys that posted all that tech info, you can see, you know, it was like a 300,000 watt system that had like, you know, delay towers every, you know, 500 yards, whatever it was, and state of the art for that time. I mean, Steve Wozniak wasn't playing around.
That's why he lost a bunch of money.
That's right. All right, guys, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to switch over because unfortunately. I can't charge my iPhone, so I'll be back in a few.
Okay. Oh, look out. Night balls. I'm seeing Nesdal and Nightbot in one sentence.
Nightballs.
Nightbot says follow Jay Hannon on Instagram. Oh man.
Night balls.
Yeah. And again, I don't mean to annoy you guys with the night balls, but it is a cool feature as long as it's spaced out enough. You know, it keeps me from having to type the stuff in, and it doesn't make, like, I don't have to be saying, Dave, type that, you know.
Yeah. Thrash metal and fun riffs guy. I don't play Slayer. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Is Slayer, are they metal or are they soft rock?
Pop speed.
But once they have their song that's on radio, they're pop. You can't, you know.
I don't know my fire really well. But I don't know it. All right, moving on. I don't know everything. I just learned. I just found out that Spanish Fly is in D standard. He tuned that flamenco guitar down to D.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Poof.
And
I think I'm back.
And this stretch is literally painful.
Sorry about that. Every time I have to switch over because it won't charge with the Hangouts. I don't know why. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. So you think Van Halen, he got the stretches from playing piano, right? You think?
Yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, he also has pretty long fingers for a small guy.
Mm-hmm.
definitely has hands that are, because they have that rock walk here, and you can put your hands in this cement thing, and they're just as big as mine. And I have huge hands, so pretty remarkable.
They're bigger than mine.
Yeah.
I've done the rock walk thing too, and mine.
Yeah, he's got long fingers, and you can tell. So.
Oh man, how you doing, Johnny? Hanging in there?
Yeah. Well, no, because for the first, the first 20 minutes of this, I was eating, and so now I'm just like chicken tenders and tots, like, oh.
Now you got the food coma. So, yeah.
Well, no, it's just, I can't talk because it's all in here, and it wants to, Oh, Fender Guru, good question. He's asking you, Caleb, about Nerd Halen, and also we haven't talked about the trademark.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, my trademark came back.
You changed your name.
Yeah, my name is Nerd Halen. Mr. Nerd Halen to you. No, it's cool. I actually own a trademark. It's pretty weird, actually. So.
Mm-hmm. So what can you do with that? I mean, obviously the music.
Well, I mean,
the music thing.
Obviously, I don't own the music, but I think I own that idea. So no one can use Nerd Halen.
Nice.
Without my consent. So that's kind of cool. Not that I have like an army of lawyers, but go ahead, use it. It'll be good press for me. So. And any news is good news. So, but it's coming along. It's we're trying out another bass player, so obviously how that goes. The guy seems very interested, and who knows? Who knows? Soon we might have something. So, but it's taking forever, and I'm just trying to stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to get discouraged.
I know what you mean, man. I've got musicians that drummers here, bass players there, whatever, and
yeah, it's amazing how many people are on their phones all the time, and then you text somebody a question and you don't hear back.
like me.
Yeah. Well, I can tell because I can see you've read it. So.
Mm-hmm.
You still have that feature on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm supposed to tell people that they have that feature on. I'm supposed to keep people see it.
Yeah, that's why on Facebook, a lot of times you get a message through Messenger.
Yeah.
If you guys, a lot of people ditched Messenger, but I love it. A lot of times you'll get a message and you can basically read the whole message without opening it.
Yes.
So if you get a message and you're like, you just never open it.
Right. It's just sort of like it's on the front of your screen. You can read it.
Yeah. I get a lot of those.
I'm sure.
I never open them. They go further and further down the pile.
Well, with 3 million views, I'm sure you're getting a lot of messages.
That's right.
The funny thing is, there actually is a message feature on YouTube, but nobody uses it. You can actually message each other on YouTube, but nobody knows about it.
There seems to be like a whole lot of things on YouTube that I don't know about.
The thing is, it's always changing. Always, and that's one of the things I tend to stay on top of. So I know about this and that, and there's some cool features coming out for YouTube as far as posting videos. There's actually a feature. It's not public yet. Well, not really, but there's a thing where like we're live right now, right? Like we got a chat room. We're talking to people. There is a feature. It's it will be available to everybody at some point, where you can do a premiere, where you can premiere a video on your channel, meaning you set like a date and a time of the video, and you guys know, like when you sit in the chat box waiting for us to go on, and you're talking to each other, and there's a countdown, right? You can do that with pre-recorded videos, or you will be able to anyway, where it's almost like you're going live, but the stuff that you're showing is recorded already, but you can be in the chat room with everybody watching it, and it's called a premiere. That's something that YouTube is working on, and it's some people have it, some people don't. I probably should have had Nightbot explain that better than me. But anyway, as far as enough of my rambling, John BL, I love that commercial, man. That's one of my favorites, man.
This one, Monsters of Rock, 88. I don't even think I watched this. I just downloaded it. It's clearly they're in the studio.
You've never seen that?
In the studio. I don't think I've seen it. They're in the studio or in the tour rehearsals, probably.
It's like they're rehearsing, yeah. And they actually, somebody won that contest.
Who is that? Oh, is that the... So Ed's got some strange glasses on. There's a girl playing...
Yeah. That's the glasses that Eddie's wearing there. Those are the Milton. Was it Milton Berle?
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah.
Where it has holographic eyes.
Guy playing accordion. Jeez.
I had those glasses back when I was a kid. I'll show you guys.
These people do not know how to play guitars and instruments.
Well, it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, because that's
they were contest winners, right? That's Joe Walsh, isn't it?
No. That's a commercial for a contest. The contest didn't happen yet.
Yeah, they want you to send in your postcard.
Eventually, a girl actually won that contest, and she got to dance on stage with them at one of the shows.
Right,
one of the stadium shows.
That's in one of the
That's in the rockumentary. Yeah, where you see like
what show is that? Detroit.
You see like a small clip of that where they're playing "You Really Got Me," and you see a girl dancing on stage with them. She was the winner of that.
Live Without a Net, Scorpions.
Dawkins.
I don't know what that is. That's some 70s TV show. People dancing. Tour buses.
Let me see if I can find a picture of those glasses and put it in the Discord.
Brought to you by Caramello.
Oh, those are good.
LA Gear.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, all this stuff is on YouTube. I've downloaded a whole bunch of it. Scorpions. Yeah, honestly, I haven't sat and watched the audio of it. I probably saw it back in the day, but this girl's got a tuba.
Yeah, that's a great commercial. I've always liked that. I saw it back in the day, and of course had it on VHS and stuff.
Lost Weekend. How's our friend? What's his name? Who won the Lost Weekend? Kurt. Have we heard from him recently?
Yeah, I did. He wished me good morning a couple days ago.
Nice.
Where are those? You guys know the glasses I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. They had little swirly, like the little swirlies in the...
Yeah, I'm not finding any pictures of them.
What do we got? Is this Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
Caleb?
Where's the jam?
I just download everything I can find on everything Van Halen related.
Oh, what's up?
Nice. The whiskey. When's your next gig, Caleb?
Oh, that wasn't a gig. That was just at the jam night. So
yeah,
no gig.
Well, and that was this. Isn't that the same kind of open night that the Eat 'Em and Smile band played at?
Yeah.
Or was going to play at with Billy and Steve and all the guys?
Yes. In fact, I think it was this one, except it moved from the bowling alley to the whiskey. So, yeah. Yes, it's not really a jam. It's kind of all pre-arranged, but people don't really have time to rehearse, so they get a link to the exact song that they're going to play. So everyone tries to play it to the exact that song, so no one messes up. But it's pretty good. There's really pro guys that show up, so it sounds pretty good, and it runs really smoothly. It's really an interesting evening. But
I wish I was in the area, you know, in the LA area.
Yeah. I hope I get to do it again. I think I will, because we did okay, and the guy who runs it was happy. So he's like, "You play other stuff too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think."
I can play whatever you want.
Yeah.
What are you playing through, Caleb?
Just my little micro cube, the Roland. Yeah, little tiny.
What is it? A 1x12 or a?
Oh no, it's like
1x8, 1x10.
Oh, it's like.
Okay.
Yeah, those are great. Those are great.
Are you going through a pedal board?
Nope.
Oh, right into it. Nice. That sounds great.
Awesome, man.
Thanks, Nightbot. Right on time.
See, Nightbot's cool.
Right on time, Nightbot. Sure.
Got an old Crate catalog from 92. Anybody play Crate?
Not in 92.
I mean, I never thought of Crate as a great. It was always practice amps. They got all the practice amps in there.
Yeah, my first amp was a Crate. It's behind that couch, right there. It's hiding.
Yeah, it was even less than PV to my, you know, at the time. The Crate really never, you know, at least there was a few pros that were playing PV, but I never really saw anybody playing Crate.
Sammy Hagar actually had a Crate model signature amp.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were kind of budget, along the lines of PV. You know, anybody could pick up a Crate combo for $150.
Mm-hmm. I always liked the PV amps. Like every PV amp I've ever seen or tried.
Absolutely
great.
Back in the day, though, the name was, you know, if you had you couldn't. Nobody was playing full PV stacks except for Ed. I mean, he's the one who broke. You know.
You know what though?
Got it out there.
My first amp was a PV Special 130 in 1983, and I put a bunch of pedals through. I think I had the Boss Heavy Metal pedal, and I used like an equalizer and some other stuff. But I used it on the clean channel, so it wasn't, you know, it didn't even really have a great distortion sound. But I had that amp for a long time, and I remember just hearing about, you know, Eddie having a Marshall and whatever, and I felt so stupid for having my cheesy PV.
Right.
Then, lo and behold, he switches to PV of all companies, and I thought, wow, I was first. So
right.
He copied me.
I had a Bandit. Before I had a Bandit, I had like a 1x8 that I pulled the actual electronics out, put it in a rack, and started using that because it had such a great tone. You'd pull the gain knob for the distortion, and you'd crank it, and I would just crank the distortion all the way up. I didn't know what dirty was. I didn't know what, I just knew, that take out the mids and crank up everything else. Nowadays I'm like, crank up the mids and turn down the distortion. I like the dirty sound.
Right. No, but I always was like, Eddie's playing PV amps now? What? Like,
before him, the only people that were playing PVs were Skinnerd. Like Skinnerd was always a big endorser of
and keyboard player
of PV. And keyboard players.
They were the number one keyboard amp was a PV. So.
Yeah, PV really wasn't a rock amplifier until the 5150.
Right. And then he switched to PV guitars. I thought that was just crazy. PV guitars.
I had so many different PVs. I remember saving up for Go ahead.
Yeah, the PV guitar before Eddie switched was like one of the ugliest guitars in the store. Like you would just look at it and go, "Eesh, the PV."
Yeah.
And then he's playing a PV. And of course, it was a different shape, and it was, some beautiful guitars. But the PVs before Eddie joined PV were not sexy guitars at all.
But they were actually pretty good guitars. I think several of them were neck throughs.
Right.
They had maple fretboards, their own tremolo.
Yeah.
I remember in college we had just one that was in the music department that we always played. Action was, like this. But and then I got the first PV I had was a TKO 80, which was a bass amp, 1x15, and I used that for years. Then I got a 4x12, which I saved up for a whole summer for a 4x12 PV. With a VTM head, like a 60 watt. Was it VTM? What was the precursor to the 5150?
A PV?
I think it was a VTM 60 or a VTM something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. And it had like little circuits you could switch to different to get different tones and to get different effects on it. But it was like a 60 watt head that I got for the 4x12. No reverb. I was so disappointed it had no reverb. But then now come to find out, I mean, most Marshall heads, a lot of those heads don't have reverb anyway. High watts, and I have found like a spring reverb rack mount that I had put into it.
Nightbot going.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I got to figure out. I got to figure out a good.
How are we doing? I'm on 206 on the East Coast.
Oh, how are we doing? I'm good. You good?
We good?
We good?
Everybody's good?
Everybody's
yeah,
good.
Vintage Sounds. The PV VTM 60. That's what I had, I think. And then there was one that was called the Butcher. I don't know if that's the one that I had. It was It was called the Butcher. A PV head called the Butcher. I don't know if that's the one that I had, but I remember the VTM 60. I think that's the one that I had bought with the 4x12.
Yeah, my first good amp, I guess, was a PV Stereo Chorus 212, and it had some built-in It had built-in delays and reverbs, just presets.
They were
that
they
you
were really great amps, but they just didn't get the respect. You know, Peavey was in the early '90s. You know, before Ed endorsed them.
I mean,
you couldn't be seen using a Peavey. You know.
Yeah, and I had one.
Well, I mean,
you were the trendsetter.
Well, back then, back in those days, you couldn't play a gig with a 212. If you wanted to be in a serious rock band, you had to have at least a half stack. You know,
Right.
I remember talking to some band, you know, and they're like, man, you know, because I told them my amp is a 212 Peavey, and they're like, well, you know, we can't have a guy with an amp sitting on a chair, you know.
Right.
Oh, a 212, which nowadays that's actually cool, you know, to
Yeah.
have an amp sitting on a, you know, when I play gigs, I've got a 212 that sits on a milk crate.
There's the amp I had, like my first
Nice.
ever.
Is that a Bandit?
That's the special 130.
Okay.
And
Was it a 1x12?
Yep.
Nice.
And it had reverb though, and it had saturation. I remember the saturation was the.
Some of the earlier Peavey heads had like. I remember a friend of mine that was a guitar when I was playing bass. The guitarist had his dad's old head that had. It was a. What did they call the musician? Peavey musician? Was that the big? I don't know what it was called, but it had 2 channels and it had shift. Shift was one of the knobs that kind of was like a wah. You turn the shift and you get like a wah sound, and it had reverb, it had delay, and Peavey was making these amps solid state in the you know throughout the '80s that were great amps, but nobody in the '80s everybody wanted the tubes, everybody wanted solid state was frowned upon, and but I always thought they were great, you know.
Yep. No, I definitely worked that thing. I wish I still had it.
That's what I learned. It's what I learned on. Yeah.
Crazy.
Caleb, go on a taco run. Thrash Metal wants you to go on a taco run.
Yeah, I wish I could. I think they're closing, but I am hungry. I did skip dinner. These are the poker.
Mesa Boogie Mark II. I always wanted a Mesa Boogie 1x12. Those were the ultimate combos. I mean, even in the 70s and 80s, people were, Pete Townsend was playing those. People were recording with those. The Mesa Boogie combos were amazing.
The Riveras are great.
So when you guys were jamming with early bands, was there sort of a minimum wattage that you had to play with to play with a drummer? It was always 60 to 80 watts. You had to have a 60 to 80 watt head or a 60 to 80 watt combo to play with a drummer.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember it was an achievement when I got my first 80 watt amp.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had to, especially if you had like a 112 like mine. I had to put it up on something.
Right.
Because
looking back, and it was just like, a 1x12 competing with a loud drummer is rough.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Not ideal.
Maybe now there's some really good amps now. So,
and I always thought that as drummers, you can't turn down a drummer, but a good drummer can play low and play at a low volume with a good groove if they know what they're doing. And nowadays, I could play with a drummer with a 35 or 30 watt head, and if it's a good drummer. Back when it was all like high school garage bands, it had to be 80 to 100 watts, but nowadays I realize a good drummer you can play with a 30-watt head with a good drummer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just good musicians in general. I mean, if you're good and if you're with other musicians that know what they're doing, they know. You know, you start out, either you set your levels or you make sure you can hear everybody, and then you take it from there. You don't overpower anybody.
That's right.
You know, I've been going to these rehearsals, and I've been lugging my 212, which is like a 60-pound cabinet, you know, and there's no wheels on it. Although I can put them on, but I don't know. I don't like the wheels. But I'm thinking about just getting the 112 EVH cabinet, because it's like 23 pounds lighter. It's, you know, and apparently it fits great with the 50-watt head that I have. So
what does EVH offer for just plain speaker cabs? I know they have
the 212 and the 412.
Okay. And then they've got like what do they have? A 15-watt, like a lunchbox head, or 5-watt?
I think that's 15 watts.
15 watts.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played? Can a 15-watt head compete with a drummer?
Yeah. No, it's
that's what I've seen throughout. I mean, for a lot of the newer
powerful little amp. Sounds great.
Right.
Yeah, Nesdal always says no. He says that the 15-watt lunchbox head, you can't use that with the drummer. Although there's a video on the channel here of me playing through one of those amps at a Guitar Center in the Platinum Room, where it's just, you know, closed off, and that thing was pretty loud.
Right.
You know, I mean, again, not as long as the drummer is playing, as long as the drummer's under control. You know,
and companies always, you know, stretch the limits of their wattage. You know, if you know, for the EVH 15, I mean, now it's, I mean, 20 years ago, a 15-watt head was nothing. I mean, you couldn't compete with anything with a 15-watt head. That was a little PV 1x8. But nowadays, a 15-watt head can compete with a drummer. I've seen that. You know,
mm-hmm.
You can play a club gig with a 15-watt head.
Mm-hmm. Well, that amp that Caleb's using. You know, I've got that same amp, and there's a band that I play with up in Oakland, and we do rehearsals in a living room, and I use that amp. I just tilt it up so it's facing, so it's you know, so the sound is going this way, you know, towards the drummer, and so where I can hear it, and it's for rehearsing, it's fine, and it's the thing's this big.
It's amazing,
right?
You know. And yeah, I do use pedals with it and stuff, but
I don't really know the Take Your Whiskey Off, but I know that one riff. So
yeah, Jimmy T on the last, you know, over the past 20 years, you know, I think companies have been honest with their wattage, even though they don't care if it's a 15-watt amp, but it'll compete with anything. Lighter speaker design. You can get a bass amp with 115 that weighs 35 pounds that pumps out 50 watts that can compete with anything. You know, recently it's not like it was in the 90s when you couldn't show up to a gig with a 30-watt amp.
Mm-hmm. Oh no! These days, it's the smaller, the better.
The smaller, the better. Exactly. Yeah.
And we're talking about amps, you guys.
Yeah. Could be anything.
You know, now you take your iPad with you to the gig and you plug it into the PA.
That's right. Yeah.
iRig.
Yep. Like this. Yeah. You show up. You show up to a rehearsal. Guys, here's my amp. Where do I plug in? I'm not kidding either.
Here's my pedal board. I go right through.
This is a PV.
the Sans amp. You know, you go, you know.
Cool.
And then I go right into the mixer here. So I don't even use this American Metal by Joyo. It's a great amp. It's a simulator of like a Fender, Bassman, that type of amp.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Joe Wentz talks about those.
And the Sans amp is just a good preamp right into the mixer. You can go right in. And I haven't played any gigs with that, but whenever I'm just sitting here, you know, I always the mixer.
Yep, Guitar Rig 5 Pro. I have that. That's what I usually go through. That's what I play through at home. It's awesome.
Is that the iRig, or is
that? No, that's Native Instruments.
Okay.
Like a plug-in for your, you know. For your,
yeah, I use the Line 6 called Gearbox.
Yeah. I definitely I would endorse Guitar Rig for sure. I've used that for years. It's great system. So.
Nightbot for President 2020. Nice.
No politics. No politics.
Right. Well, Johnny, thanks. Thanks, Steve, for recommending me. Happy to do it anytime.
Right, Steve's still out. Steve's still out partying.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, hopefully he's having a great time. Hope everybody is having a great time out there. And yeah, so are we good? I know it's late where you are, man. I know.
2:20.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That hurts.
It's been a crazy week, but happy to end it on this with you guys.
Everyone have a safe holiday weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Fender Guru. Thank you, man. Jimmy T. You're over in the Discord, right? We created a new channel over in the Discord. What is it? Interesting guitar chords? Something like that? I think Jimmy T, that was his recommendation, and that's if you check it out, I think he was posting some stuff over there.
Interesting guitar chords?
Yeah, interesting chords, or I guess I could look, but yeah. Well, hey, I'm gonna jump over there as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna jump over to the Discord, hang out. Interesting and unusual guitar chords. That's the channel.
Cool.
And he posted some stuff in there already, so I'm gonna head on. Yeah,
check out. I got a couple of videos on my channel. Like I was showing you the On Fire Greensboro. I took the audio from the Greensboro and put the edited some of the 78, 79. What was it? The films from was it Anaheim or the Sealand Arena? So I, check out my channel.
Fresno. That's Fresno.
Fresno. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I edited all the Montreal and some of that stuff. Check out my channel. We got that. I got the Us Festival intro, which is cool. Rough, but cool. And a couple other. We got the Live Without a Net Easter egg on there.
Oh,
remember that?
For those of you guys who don't know, it was John BL that sent us that. If you guys remember back, how long ago was that? Has it been a year?
It was a year ago. About a year ago, yeah.
A year ago, John BL discovered that there's an Easter egg on the Live Without a Net DVD that has nothing to do with. I don't know what it is. It has nothing to do with Van Halen at all.
Yeah.
There's no sound to it, right?
No, it's just a guy riding around on a strange bike with a strange guitar and a strange car.
It looks like
in Italy or something. Or
it looks like it might be a music video or something, but there's no sound. There's no sound. And we're not joking. This is actually on the Live Without a Net DVD. If you put it in your computer and dig around, you'll come across this file.
Let's see if I can get it.
Let's see if you can show it real quick. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's really weird. And this is true.
This is true.
It is. It is. Because I own the DVD as well. Thank you to, I think, Steve Anderson.
And you were able to find it, right?
And I found it, and I watched it. Watch this. This is actually on the Live Without a Net DVD. This is actually on there. And there's no sound, so you're not missing anything sound-wise. But
right. What is that?
It's regular speed. It's like,
we don't know what it is. To me, it looks like it. See, it looks like he's singing.
And it's certainly not from the 80s. It looks like it's from the DVD was published in like 2004.
I've seen that cover.
But if you pop the Live Without a Net DVD in your computer, open up the DVD icon, you can find it pretty easily. This crazy guy and the guy with the mustache.
See, to me, that it looks like a music video.
Well, to me, it looks like almost like a reality show. Like there's like a couples type of show. This couple is doing something, and there's a guy riding the bike.
Is he singing though?
Looks like Amsterdam.
Different guy. He's got a 3-wheel Mercedes. Is that Mercedes? Yeah, right. The same guy riding the bike. I'm sure if you looked at the names of the places and stuff, he's got a guitar.
Oh, we should have asked Michael Anthony.
That's what. Yeah, that's some of the stuff you should ask him.
I'm sure he has no idea.
But he doesn't know. This was Warner Brothers. This was back when.
And this is hidden in the, I'm sure none of those guys probably even know about this.
Right.
Because you can only find this if you watch it in your computer.
Just so random. But it's historical places. I mean, there's that car. This place back here is some cathedral or something. And so he's got the green.
See, to me, it's a music video because it looks like the whole band is getting together and now they're going to play the song together.
Right. They're all getting together. They're out.
Because it looked like the guy was singing.
Looks like he had a pig nose amp.
The thing is, if we can find out what band that is, because look, they're playing music now. If we can find out what band that, like maybe screen capture, like
right,
like
see if we can identify it through Google or we got 2 guitar players and a drummer. So I don't even know.
And that looks like
it's probably.
That looks like the 90s. That looks like late 90s, early 2000s somewhere.
It's like a glitch.
And you get like a whole. They're playing in a field now, or like by a pond.
Weird.
Crazy. I don't know. Is that a Gretsch? He's got like a. Anyway, that's it.
Looks like a. Yeah, that's definitely that's a music video, and if we can find out what video that is, but yeah, again, that is on the Live Without a Net DVD, hidden away, and thank you to Jean BL for pointing that out.
As I was saying in the chats a few weeks ago, it's the Van Halen forensics. You got to analyze like Live Without a Net. I've looked through every frame of that film. There's so much in there. Just little, looking at the production behind it and all that. Yeah, it's Van Halen forensics.
EVH
I love it.
CSI.
Yeah, exactly.
CSI Studio City.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we're good. We're good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I got to pee.
Oh, no. All right, John Bale. Thanks for hosting tonight, man.
No, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Steve. Hope you have a great night, great gig tonight.
I hope you're sick next Friday.
No, man. Steve's show is... I'm not stepping on any toes here.
Wait a minute. He had that broken leg. Was that you?
I had nothing to do with it.
Man, still in commission, that dude. All right. Good night, Carl. Good night, Thrash Metal, Fender Guru, Mad Dog, everybody. Good night, Nightbot. I love you. You're amazing.
Nightbot.
And
yeah, I think he did good on his first day.
It's getting better. Yeah. And Caleb, hope you had a great time tonight.
Nerd Halen.
Yeah, everybody.
Check them out.
Yep.
Getting it together. Everybody have a great weekend. So fun to hang out with all y'all.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to jump over to the Discord real quick. Hang out. If anybody wants to hang out, I'll be over there. So we'll see you guys soon. This is my VEDA vlog every day. I guess it's over. Although I'm thinking I'm going to continue to do something every day. So I'll continue to vlog or post something. So nothing's changing. All right, John, Caleb, have a good night. johnnybeane.tv